Hi, class. We're entering the last week of our sessions, and I'll be sending a video of a few easy pieces at the end of the book, just a few other things I think you might want to look at. And also, I'm going to review the final. We didn't really get a lot of time to go over this, and I usually go over it with every class. So here's what to expect. I'll probably even give you a few answers here if you want to take notes. Basically, you have to be able to identify every note in first position on the guitar by letter name. All right, so the first string, E, F, and G, if you see them, you have to be able to write a letter under the note. You also have to know the note placement. If it's the E on the first string, you've got to be able to say it's labeled that it's the first string and labeled that it's open by putting a 0, or if it's G on the first string, label that it's the first string and mark a 3. So you're putting two numbers. Strings are indicated by circled numbers. So if a note's on the first string, you put a 1 in a circle. If it's the third fret of the first string, you put a 1 in a circle, and on top of it, you put the number 3, indicating that you're playing the third fret of that string. Now you have to be able to do this with all the notes in first position. And I divided it up. First, you're going to do the first 3 strings, and then you're going to do the bottom 3 strings. And just do the best you can. Next, you're going to have to identify rhythms. So whole note, hollow note without a stem. You have to be able to label what rhythm it is. Is it a whole note? Is it a half note? Is it a quarter note? And you'll have these tests at home, so you can use Google or whatever it takes to get the information. You have to label what the rhythm is, and then you have to label how many beats that rhythm is. So if it's a whole note, it's 4 beats, and you have the other ones here as well. So you'll write down whole note under the whole note, or you'll write down 4 under the whole note if I ask you how many beats it is. Then on the other side, so that's the whole first part of the test. The second part of the test are all multiple choice, and there's a fair amount of this stuff. I don't even think we really got into it too deeply, but I'll give it to you, and just do the best you can, and don't worry about it. So we've got, what's the difference between a music staff and guitar tablature? Well, the lines on guitar tablature are the strings on the guitar. Remember that. And the numbers on those lines are the frets. So if you know that already, you'll be able to figure out the answer. All right, I'm going to give you that. That's like half of it. All right, so remember, tablature, you have a 6-string guitar, you're going to have 6 lines, 6 horizontal lines, and then any number that's on any of those lines indicates the placement. If it's a 0 on a line, it's an open string. If it's a 3 on a line, it's the 3rd fret. That's tablature, okay? What does a sharp do? Does it raise a note? Does it lower a note? We've never done flats. We've only done sharps. So if you know that F is the 1st fret of the 1st string, where do you play F sharp? You can look that up, all right? What does a dot do to a note's value? You know that a half note is 2 beats. What's a dotted half note? Think of it from a mathematical perspective, though. If a half note is 2 beats, and then if a dotted half note is 3 beats, are you going to say, oh, a dot just adds 1? Or how much of 2 is 1? And you'll see that in the choice. That's kind of what where we're coming from with this. I want you to know what the dot adds to a note, mathematically speaking. Does it always add 1, or it depends what it's attached to, and how much of the original note does it add? So you can look that up as well. What does a time signature tell you? Does it tell you how many notes are in a measure or how many beats are in a measure? Okay, think about that. What does a clef show us? Does it show us a single note on the staff, or does it tell us what key the music is in? Now, this one question in particular is the one that most of the students have gotten wrong over all the years that I've taught this class. So I'll give you a big hint. If you have a G clef, it shows you where what note is. Or if you have an F clef, it shows you where what note is. It points out one note. From that one note, you can figure out your others. It does not tell you the key. So you should all get that one right. How many notes are used in a power chord? Remember when we were doing power chords and you were playing Smells Like Teen Spirit and you put how many fingers down on the strings? You know, so how many notes is a power chord? All right. Generally, it's a root and a fifth. That's your clue right there. So a natural half step. What two sets of notes are only separated by a half step? And when I say natural half step, I mean F to F sharp are 1 fret away. All right, that's not a natural half step because you used a sharp. On the first string, you have E, F, and G. Which set of notes is only separated by a fret? And on the second string, you have B, C, and D. Which set of notes is only separated by a fret? Think about that. That's what a natural half step is. Now, this is a big one. Chords, root position, and inversions. If I say play an A minor chord, you'll strum 5 strings. Your 5th string is A. The letter name of the chord, if you strum from the letter name of the chord, that's a root position chord. An inversion is when you strum from a different note. So if I want to play an A minor over E, I'm going to finger an A minor and strum it from the 6th string. That's kind of what I'm talking about with an inversion. And how does that get indicated? Remember we talked about slash chords. So when you see on the final one, you see the slash chord, remember that that's going to be an inversion. And when you just see a letter name, an A minor, an E, a G7, those are going to be your root position chords. So I did tell you I would give you some of the answers. What notes are included in the music alphabet? This one everybody should get right. In other words, is it A to G? Is it A to H? Is it A to J? How many notes? All right, so think about that, and that's something you can definitely look up. What does a tie do? Is it a hold sign? Do you play the second note of a tie? Think about the function of a tie. You've all played them in the songs that we've been doing. And finally, what's an interval? Does it have to do with the distance between two things? So think about that. That should be pretty obvious, all right? So it's all multiple choice, the whole thing. All the answers are here. It's just a matter of placing them in the right, in the right place and take it from there. So good luck with it. And I'll include some other videos of me playing some of the songs and we're done. So thank you all for taking this class. All right, be well and stay safe.